It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Welcome in to the Tuesday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. It's a little baseball pregame show edition as we get set to lead you into live coverage of East Carolina and NC State. We will be here with you until 5:45 when Scott Rogers and Coach O take over. However, Scooter is with us here today as he is our guest for the show as we get set to preview Pirate baseball in this big sold-out contest between the Pirates and the Wolfpack. How's it going, Scooter?
Doing good, Philip. Going to be heading over to the stadium here in a little bit and looking forward to a great crowd tonight.
It should be a good one, and I will be stuck here in the studio making sure Scooter doesn't sound bad. And the other guy that will be at the stadium that is part of our crew today is Dom Kasulki. How's it going, Dom?
I'm great. I'm ready to eat all of the press box's food. That's my excitement for the day.
That's your excitement. We were playing NC State, and all you're excited about is the darn food. You sound like Cookie.
No, you know I'm kidding. I love a good NC State ECU rivalry game. I'm super excited.
Dom loves baseball. He's sitting here trying to play it off like he's the voice of the Tarboro River Bandits. He watches 162 Red Sox games a year.
I gotta
bets
act
on
like
162 of them now.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
So Dom over here trying to play it off like he doesn't like baseball, but we know he does. Anyway, so I do want to get into a quick sound bite here from Coach Godwin as he talked yesterday when we had him on this show, as well as met with Stephen Igo and Patrick on his thoughts on tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for college baseball. I mean, anytime we play NC State, North Carolina, specifically, our fans come out in droves, which I appreciate. Anytime our guys can play in that kind of atmosphere, it just makes us more prepared for the postseason. And there's no better place than have a place packed in Clark LeClaire Stadium. It's awesome. I said this on social media, but we don't come from behind down 7-0 in game one of the doubleheader if our fans don't get into the game. And they get into the game, and you could just see in the dugout, like Wichita State's feeling the pressure, which is a good thing. So we need Pirate Nation to be in full force tomorrow night.
Well, they will be in full force. As earlier mentioned, the game is sold out. I get what he's saying. It's a good game for college baseball. It is, because it's good midweek. It's on ESPN+. A lot of people during this day and time have ESPN+. But come on, CG. That's a little too much coach talk. Come on. It is good for our program. We're playing an ACC school. We don't get to play these types of games all year long because we have, Wichita State in our conference. We're getting to play a top 25 program. Have a little enthusiasm about you. Come on. Are you boys excited? Because I sure as heck am.
I'm very excited. This is everybody remembers how good of a game it was last year. I think East Carolina hit 5 home runs in that game against NC State. And, of course, you beat them already once this year. Now, when you look at it you take the rivalry aspect and all that stuff out of this game, this is a huge game for both clubs. East Carolina could get 14 points for their RPI with a win tonight. This would be a solid win for NC State's resume, being that it's a road game for them. But just to have on that resume for East Carolina that they swept a season series with an ACC school and one that has a pretty high RPI is going to be big for the Pirates. But like I said, on the other hand, NC State has that same matchup coming in. They need a road win over a quality opponent as well, with East Carolina being top 10 in the RPI right now. This would be a huge win for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, State has been up and down. Now, they did take 2 out of 3 over the weekend against the Tar Heels, so that is back on their come-up after struggling a little bit. Dom, just kind of what are your overall thoughts on tonight's game? I mean, look, it's a midweek, so they're always unpredictable. Not really sure how the pitching will be managed on either side because you don't have a true starter, but what are your thoughts moving into this one?
Well, I'm thinking that we went out first game and beat them at NC State, and we usually don't do that. So I'm thinking if we can just keep control, keep our pitching, just keep them around under 5 runs, we should hit them well enough to win the game. And we hit very well at home here in Greenville, as you see, week to week. So I think we should go out and sweep them, even though NC State may have got 2 out of 3 against the Tar Heels. They've been up and down all season, so let's hope that they take their drop again at this point in the season.
I like what Dom said there about keeping them under 5 runs. State can rake, but their pitching, and now part of the reason their pitching hasn't been great is because if you look at the final score to ACC games, I mean, it's like looking at lacrosse final scores. They're like 12-9, 14-10. So that's got a lot to do with it.
They've also dealt with some injuries here lately, and talking with Andrew Sanders, which is the play-by-play voice for the Wolfpack for baseball, he's even said that the reason NC State has not released a starter right now is because they've had so many injuries and they've had so many late decisions with starters here recently. And so if you're wondering why people out there was no starter release for NC State, that's why.
Yeah, that's interesting to not have it the day before the game. Because I know you texted us last night once it was allowed to be public, hey, this is who ECU's starting, and we were not allowed to, or you didn't know at the time who State was starting, which is weird, but normally I'd say it makes it tougher on the opponent because you don't know who to plan for. But on a midweek, do you ever really know who to plan for? I feel like you don't, because at the end of the day, half the time they use an opener anyways, and then it's not an opener for 1 inning followed by a starter for 5. It's just their staff days anyways.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what NC State did last time against East Carolina. They pitched. It was probably 6 or 7 guys in that game. It might have been more. Most of them went an inning, maybe 2 innings at most. But when you look at their pitching staff, as you said, it's not very good in terms of numbers. We saw up in Raleigh that it wasn't very good either. And so if you can really get on the ball early tonight, get an early lead like they did in that game in Raleigh, East Carolina I don't think will have any issue tonight. And when you look at East Carolina's pitching and in both NC States, the one interesting thing coming into this game is both teams have 2 days of rest for their pitching instead of 1, because NC State, UNC was that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then East Carolina just went Friday and Saturday because of the doubleheader with the rain on Sunday. And so that throws an interesting thing in there too, but it will help East Carolina having 2 days rest instead of just 1.
Speaking of pitching, obviously the Pirates will go with a staff day. Who do you guys think is going to take the bulk of the innings tonight? Who's the guy that Cliff Godwin and AK, either one of you want to answer this is good, or both. The great thing is we had 2 days off. The bad thing was bullpen had to throw a lot of innings this weekend, a little bit more than normal. Now, shout out to Zach Root for coming back out there after giving up that 7 spot. It worked out because his pitch count was low. But, early in the season, it was, hey, we're going to get 3 innings out of Chris Kaler. Saw that at Elon. Saw that somewhere else. Can't remember off the top of my head. I don't have Kaler's stats pulled up in front of me. But who do you guys think is going to be the guy who's going to get the bulk of the innings tonight? Is there anybody we're going to get 2 and plus 3, maybe even 4 innings out of tonight?
I think, you're going to take it by the game and just see how it flows. But the one thing to watch is NC State's not good against left-handed pitching. And so we saw that against Aaron Groller when he started that game at NC State. I don't think you see Groller for a ton of innings tonight, but I do think that's an arm as you might see, just considering how well he pitched against NC State in that first game. Eric Ritchie is one who's left-handed. Ethan Norby has got 2 days of rest now, and so I think you could see him for an inning or 2 if needed tonight. But I think it's going to be a left-handed heavy pitching staff that East Carolina runs out there, especially for the first few innings, considering if NC State is not swinging the bat well against that left-handed pitching, try to keep doing it, and then maybe later in the game you try to go to someone like Wyatt Lunsford-Shinkman for an inning or 2 to close it out.
Yeah, I would love to see one of our big guys get in there, Bill Shink, have a phenomenal, energy give late in the game. It would almost be fun if this one was close, I think, because the last one was such a blowout, and Clark LeClair's just amped up when it's close against State or Carolina. But I don't want to tax these guys. I mean, look at Norby and having to throw, 70 pitches or whatever midweek last week, or 2 weeks ago, I think it was. So we don't want to see that. I mean, am I crazy, Dom, for saying I want it to be a close game? It'd be fun to kick their butt. Don't get me wrong. But there's something about a 5-4 win in Clark LeClair against an ACC opponent that just gets that place just amped.
Yeah, the energy would be immaculate there. I would love it if it was a close game that we end up winning. I'd never want it to be a close game and we're on the losing end of it. But I'd love a close game, and I'd love someone like you were saying. I think it feels like Godwin throws out Danny Beal in almost every game I'm at. It feels like at this point. So I feel like I might see Danny Beal out there for 1 or 2 innings. Depends if someone's in a jam and he needs to come out and get them out of it. And I know he'll bring the intensity. Along with Wyatt Lunsford-Shankman, he always brings the intensity. So you want to see him out there if it's a close game at the end of it, and the crowd would go crazy with him with his celebrations right after getting out of a jam.
It would be. He does bring the energy. Nobody quite like Ben Terwilliger used to. I do miss Ben Terwilliger coming off the mound, screaming. He reminded me of Jabba Chamberlain. Is that a good comparison, Scooter?
I would say so. I think Ben's a little bit taller.
Yeah, he's taller than Jabba, but that he would come off the mound with was awesome. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. We'll go around the room here. What percentage of boos to cheers does former Pirate third baseman Alec Makarevich get in his first plate appearance, Scooter?
I'm going to say I'm going to go 50-50, actually.
Okay.
I think there might be a little more cheers than boos, but I think it's truly going to be about split down the line.
All right, Dom.
Personally, my feeling on it,
okay.
You've already played
I was
them
gonna
once.
Get into that next, but all right.
You want me to go? I can wait. Wait.
Yeah. I want to go just predictions, then we can go personal feelings. And when you do your personal feelings, Scooter, I want to ask you how you thought the Pirate fans received him for the ones that were in Raleigh. So, anyways, prediction, Dom, go.
Well, I know Scooter knows a lot about Pirate baseball, considering he's the broadcaster, but I would have to disagree. I think there's going to be more boos. I'd say more 80-20 of a bunch of drunk kids in the jungle. It's East Carolina University.
80-20. Wow, Dom.
I think he's going to get booed tonight. I think he's getting booed. And we said we're waiting for that. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm with Dom. I think Pirate fans hold grudges. I don't think they want to hear both sides to the story. I think they're just ticked off. Hey, you left, you jerk. I think it's like a third cheers to 20% cheers, something in that. So I'm definitely with Dom. All right, now we'll go to personal feelings. And Scooter, after you share your personal feelings, before you throw it to Dom, I'll let you throw it to Dom. Give us what you thought the percentage was when it came to the Pirate fans. I know it's tough to tell with it being majority state fans, but what feeling did you get when we were in Raleigh a few weeks back?
Really, if memory serves me best, and of course we're doing the game and everything, so it's hard to really listen that good. It really wasn't that much. Now I could be wrong. Most of the Pirate fans were down the third baseline, almost in left field, and we're directly behind home plate, obviously, and so it's kind of hard to tell. Of course, we got headsets on as well, and so you can't really hear a lot. There were some boos, I think, and the NC State crowd, if I remember correctly, cheered a little bit louder when he came up the bat, just to kind of drown it out a little bit, and they knew the situation, obviously. But my personal feelings is you've already played them once. Cliff Godwin is on record saying that could have handled it a little bit differently, that sort of thing, and so I think you just move on. He's having a great year at NC State. He's going to be a first-team All-ACC player this year. He's probably going to be in the category to be ACC Player of the Year, and just be happy for the kid. He graduated from East Carolina. He's got a degree from here. He moved on. It's very similar to what Shane Calhoun. We talked about that last Friday, I think it was, Philip on the IGO show, how
We did.
He got his degree. He's moving on for 1 year. Yes, he didn't go to NC State, but same situation pretty much in terms of going somewhere for a year. So I think you just move on. You can boo if you want. If you don't, cheer for him. Not necessarily cheer for him, but don't boo him, that sort of thing. And, everybody's got their opinion. Everybody's got their different opinions on it. And so I'm sure there will be some people booing, but at the end of the day tonight, he's just a Wolfpack player wearing number 99 to the broadcast booth.
All righty, Dom.
I agree that I think he's a kid, he's a player, it's baseball, you can't hate him that much, but it's more the fact that he went to the school that most East Carolina University students consider their rival, and going there is going to create some boos. So personally, I wouldn't want to boo him because of the whole situation, but I do understand that he's going to get booed. But I wouldn't boo him myself if I wasn't. Obviously, I can't in the press box. But
I think you should just to see what would happen.
Yeah, I am right in front of the window, so maybe they'd hear me pretty well. I mean, probably one of the best views for him to hear me.
Yeah, I think you should just open the window, Dom, and just scream at him. Just absurdities that I can't say on the radio or, we'll get fined by the FCC. I think you should just scream them out the press box at him.
Yeah, maybe Scooter can come join me.
Get
I'll be
Scooter
busy.
kicked off the broadcast. Yeah, we don't need that again. Not that Scooter's done it, but we've had enough broadcast issues this year. We don't need Scooter getting kicked off during the broadcast as well.
He would never do that. I know he wouldn't.
No.
I understand, I guess, people's frustration. I do. Back to what Scooter was talking about, where it's like you don't want to see a guy go to a rival school. But also on the other side of things, like, look, he got his degree here. He started every game over the last 2 years. Like, think about his walk-off bases clearing double against Carolina back in 21. Like, he brought a lot of joy to this program. Does it stink to see him in another uniform? Sure, but I don't know. I guess I was about to say I'll see how I feel when he walks out there, but I'll be in the radio booth, so I won't really get much of a feeling either way. So, or not in the radio booth, but in the studios back here, so you don't get that same feel. But who knows? We'll see what happens. But we do need to get a break in, as we do have a shortened show today, as we have to get you out to Scooter, who's so nice to join us right before he does what is hopefully only about a 3-hour broadcast, or hopefully it's at least shorter than last week's, and Coach O for NC State and ECU. So we're going to get our first time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show. We'll be back to talk more Pirate and NC State on the other side of this timeout.
Ready to save thousands with a great rate? Get 0% financing at Greenville Toyota during the Great Rate Sales Event. Shop our massive inventory of new Toyotas, available as low as 0%. Hurry to Greenville Toyota today, where our volume saves you money.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Dum-dum-dum. Get low, get low, get low. 369, ooh, she fine. Hoping she can sing it to me one more time. Get low, get low, get low, get low.
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild. When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
New Toyotas, 0 down and only $369 a month at Greenville Toyota during the Great Rate Sales Event. Buy with 0% or get Corollas, $369 a month with 0 down. This is not a lease, you own it. Plus, get our Greenville Advantage at Greenville Toyota.
You ready for this?
Oh, I'm very ready. Okay, ready?
You ready? Streaming to the world at 943thegame.com. This is the Patrick Johnson Show. Now in all his glory, here's the P-Man.
Welcome back into our Tuesday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. Philip Pilkington here, filling in for the P-Man. Patrick will be back tomorrow, but I'm joined by Scott Scooter Rogers and Dom Kasulki. And gentlemen, as this moves on, this is more of a Scooter question. Not that Dom can't chime in on this one, but so when you're a fan and you're playing a team like NC State, you're a fan of any team playing a big rivalry game, there is an extra little bit of that gut inside-out feeling going into a game. Fans will admit it. When you're a player, it's the same thing. The players will never admit it, but for anybody I remember playing in high school, and it was a little different feel that rivalry day. It was a little easier to get out of bed in the morning. You're a little more pumped up, a little more excited during pregame warm-ups. The players say, oh, it's just another baseball game. Yeah, they know the difference. So my question, Scooter, the players and coaches, they feel the difference whether they admit it or not. Fans will admit they feel the difference. As a broadcaster, is 9 innings of Division I baseball equal to 9 innings of Division I baseball? Well, right before NC State, Carolina, Campbell, is there a little extra of that nervousness feeling going into a broadcast against a rivalry game? Be honest.
I wouldn't say that there's more nervousness, but you definitely have a little bit more to it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You definitely have amped up a little bit more. And of course, I've been a Pirate my whole life and have been to many East Carolina NC State games before I got the radio job. And so, I know how big this rivalry is. I've been in the jungle for it many a times. And so from that aspect, there is a little bit more to it. And, every game's going to have a different feel to it. When you play Old Dominion on a midweek game in the middle of March, that feeling is not going to be the same if you're playing Texas in game 2 of a super regional at home. So, yeah, I mean, every broadcast I think is different, but for games like this, there is a little bit more, like you said, I wouldn't say nervousness, but definitely have a little bit more to it.
Dom, is there a different feel inside the media row there in the press box, you think, when we're playing NC State as opposed to playing, like he said, Old Dominion?
100%. It's more packed in there. There's more people because people from NC State or the others like school like Campbell will come and they're writing about their team. It's just it's a different atmosphere, especially with all the windows open and sun setting and the crowds getting into it. It feels like you're part of the game when you're that close in the press box. It's really fun.
And Dom's food.
And Dom's food.
Of course.
Hopefully Dom gets fed well tonight. Scooter, I'm going to go slightly off topic, but it's on building off our previous point. Is PA announcing a Little League World Series game in Williamsport, Pennsylvania more nerve-wracking than PAing at Elm Street Park?
Yes, because there is on average about 20 to 25,000 people at every single game in Williamsport, and you can see every single one of them when you look out that window when you're talking.
And when you did it, I can't remember what games you had. Did you have any of the international teams?
Yes, I think I had 2 international games.
Do you remember what countries they were with the name stuff?
They were, I think I had Curacao one game, Venezuela, maybe one of those games as well. And yeah, names definitely were tough. But at that level, you've got pronunciation guides and everything like that to help you out. So it's very easy. And I'm actually going back to Williamsport this summer. So I'm looking forward to, I'll be up there for close to a week. Going to try to get to the Little League Classic again between the Tigers and Yankees this year. And so looking forward to that. But yeah, looking forward to going back to Williamsport this summer.
So you're going to be in Warner Robins for the Southeast Regional as well, right?
Correct.
He's going to be there. He's going to try and hop over and see a Braves game, which I may be in Atlanta that weekend. Maybe a fun little 94.3 The Game party in Atlanta. So
hey now.
Hey now. But, it's funny. You bring up you're talking about the names. I guess the nice thing is, too, if you do get the Spanish-speaking countries, their names are stuff that we see a lot living in the United States, so it's not too bad. But I remember one time I was doing PA for ECU and Towson volleyball. Towson did not have a single girl on the team that was not from like Latvia or or it's not even Czechoslovakia anymore, the Czech Republic. Oh my goodness at these names. It was so bad. I felt so bad. Parker's looking at me like, dude, you've botched every one of these. I'm like, well, you come over here and do it, okay? Sorry that her last name is Sloksovic, okay? So as long as you don't get Eastern European teams, man, that's where, or Russian teams, that's where the line, like I would hate to call hockey. Could you imagine calling hockey and like every other guy's name is, Kucherov?
Right, especially in the Olympics.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Dom, now that you're the voice of the Tarboro River Bandits, is it, for the most part, do you get Spanish names and English names where it's pretty easy, or would it be in Woodbat summer baseball, or do you have a bunch of crazy names too?
There's crazy names here and there on some of the other teams too, but after a few games of the River Bandits, I usually get used to the names. Although it's summer ball, so people add and drop like crazy during the year. So new names come in, and there's always a few names that are easy to trip up on, but nothing like you guys have been talking about. I know I'd have trouble with those, but I haven't had to deal with those just yet. It's only been 1 year, so we'll see if it happens next year.
Yeah. And we'll get back on ECU baseball. I just got one more thing I want to say. I will say, Scooter, when I had to PA the American Conference tournament for softball a few years ago, and we hosted it, and you've got Chuck Sullivan standing right behind you in the booth. And Chuck's great, but he's the media relations director for the conference. And you're like, man, I cannot mess this up. And maybe I did or didn't, but we're not going to get into that anymore. We'll go back to ECU baseball. Bottom line is everybody has got a little extra juice tonight because we're playing NC State. Even the players and Coach Godwin, they won't admit it because they've got to have coach speak and players speak, but they know it's true. They know that they're a little more amped up because the little wolfies are in town. So we'll talk about ECU as a whole here, Scooter. Solid week last week. You go 4-0. I won't talk about Tuesday night because I know you've probably repressed that from your memory. You got back about 2:30 on Wednesday morning. But they sweep Wichita State. 2 come from behind wins, down 7 in game 1 of the doubleheader on Saturday, down 3 in game 2. And the big story, the bottom of the lineup, Joey Barini, Colby Wallace, whoever else was, but Dixon Williams. I mean, great showing and probably the best Joey Barini we've ever seen at the plate.
It was, and he was clutch all week. You go back to that game Tuesday against William and Mary. He had that double in the 9th inning, which got East Carolina at that time. I think it tied the game. He had the 2 home runs in the doubleheader on Saturday. And as Coach Godwin said yesterday, Joey Barini's always been a clutch guy in those big moments, whether it was pinch hitting roles or when he's starting like he has been the past 2 years. He's always been a clutch hitter, and he's a kid that does things the right way all the time, and one of the best to, in terms of people to ever put on an East Carolina uniform. And so happy to see him do that. Colby Wallace is another one who really had a good weekend, as you mentioned. And then someone else, who hasn't had a ton of playing time this year, Cam Claunch, with an absolute good weekend too. And it was great to see Claunch. And, if he can continue to have that success at the plate, you might see him sneak into this lineup more and more, whether it's in DH spots or in pitch hitting roles as well.
Give me more Cam Claunch. I've been saying it all year. He had his first multi-hit game on Saturday since the opening game. He was a DH on opening night against Ryder. He's not had a multi-hit game since then, but I'm looking at his stats here, and I'm not just going to just bore you by reading them off, but if you look at Cam's ABs, when he's had more than a week off since an AB, he struggles a little bit, as you'd expect. But when he's consistently getting to play, he's consistently hitting the baseball. Give me more Cam Claunch. Scooter, look, Cam's played great. He's played, he's a phenomenal, defensive first baseman. Carter Cunningham will tell you that a lot of his credit in playing defense has come to everything that he's learned from Cam. Cam can hit the ball well. He's batting over 300. But the reason I think we haven't seen a lot of Cam this year, and it surprised me, but it's due to the catchers, in that CG cannot take J-Dub or McChrystal out of the lineup, or so he feels, and that's where you would expect to see Cam in that spot. I think coming into the year, we all thought Cam was going to get at least one start a week. Those catchers would each maybe get a day off. Maybe he'd get 2 starts total in 4 days. But, it stinks for Cam. I love Cam. Hopefully, this sparks him a little more PT here down the stretch, but I thought he was going to play more going into the season. I think solely the only reason he hasn't is because of those catchers. What are your thoughts on that, Skidder?
Yeah, and, especially in that DH spot, with Ryan McChrystal, the way he's hit the ball. Of course, he didn't play last Tuesday at William & Mary, but he has been so good in that DH spot at the plate. And not only that, he's kind of become, it appears, Zach Roots' personal catcher because he's been catching pretty much every Saturday when he starts. But the way that he's hit the ball, I think, has been another reason why it's been so tough for Claunch to get in there, because you don't want to change that lineup at all. You don't want to take a guy that's hitting close to 350 out of your lineup just to slide somebody else in there. And, Cliff Godwin has always been one of those coaches that, if that lineup's working, there's no reason to tinker with it. And, I would do the same thing. If it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Exactly.
And so keep those guys in there and keep this team playing consistently. But as I said, once you get down the stretch, you're going to have some matchup situations where you might want to get a lefty at the plate, a power lefty in terms of someone like Cam Claunch. And so I think you will see Claunch a little bit more here down the stretch. And it's hard to believe we only got about a month left of the regular season, because I think the conference tournament starts about the 25th of May. And so, you're down the stretch here. You only have a few conference series left. And, of course, you got some big midweek games coming up, too, and not just tonight, but also against Duke. You got Campbell. You still got a VCU game in there as well. And so when you have some matchup situations where you need a power lefty, Cam Claunch is always going to be your option in spots like that.
All right, I want to get into that. You brought up tonight, if we win, we magically gain RPI points. Who knew that was a thing? I thought we were punished for showing up to games. I thought the RPI hated ECU and we were better off faking COVID and not playing the game. But we gain points if we win tonight. So come on, boys. But, when we had that soundbite from Coach Godwin earlier, he talked about how when you play games like this, it prepares you for a regional. The atmosphere, the quality of the opponent. And look, I love the North Carolina series early. I think it's great that second week of the year, we're playing 3 games against a big-time ACC opponent. But I love this year how late we play State the second time, how late we play Duke, how late we play that second game against Campbell. Because at the end of the day, we're going to be a 1-bid lead. Maybe UTSA sneaks in, but we haven't played UTSA in over a month. By the time the postseason starts, we won't have played them in 2 months. And sometimes I wonder, and I'll get both of your guys' opinion on this, but I've always wondered, ECU's had a lot of success in the postseason, but they haven't broke down the door to Omaha. It's not from a lack of talent, not from a lack of effort, not from a lack of coaching. Is it maybe are we Gonzaga, where they can't win the national championship because after December, the only team they play the whole time is St. Mary's, and their competition's so easy, and then they're almost a little starstruck when they play. And maybe not it's not a mental thing. It's just you're not used to having to win gritty, close games because they're blowing teams out by 30, and it's the same thing with ECU baseball. It's like we're run ruling teams, and it's great. We're having that margin of victory you need against lesser opponents, but sometimes, am I crazy to think maybe that our conference is part of the reason that we've not been to Omaha because of how weak it is?
I think you could say that starting this year and last year maybe, but when you look at years past, this conference has been good in the past. You look at when Houston was really good, when UCF was good, when South Florida was still up there at the top of the league. This was a good league for baseball 4 or 5 years ago. When East Carolina was playing good still then, absolutely. And so, I don't think you can put a big blame on the conference at all. I just think that, as you said, East Carolina just hasn't been able to knock that door down yet. And they're doing things the right way, and it's going to happen eventually. But I wouldn't say that competition has anything to do with this team, because we've seen them against lesser competition and we've seen them against bigger competition as well. And they go out there and they hit it square in the mouth every single time.
All right, Dom. So I want to get your opinion kind of on the point I just made, and obviously Scooter did a good job countering it. But these last few midweeks, we got State, Duke, a reschedule against VCU, and Campbell. Who are you most excited to see, and who do you think preps East Carolina for a postseason run the most? Campbell, VCU, Duke, or State? Who are you most excited? All of which come to Clark LeClaire Stadium.
Well, I love all of them, but it seems like we struggled against Campbell last year, and I think if we can get over that hump of beating them later in the season, yeah, pun intended.
Yeah, so I was going to say, that was good. Get over the hump.
I saw your face when I said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if we can get over that hump, we can really excel in the regionals and super regionals. And the opposite of what I said during the football season, I think we're going to win. I think we're going to Omaha this year. I'm knock on wood.
Soundbite. I think we're
gonna lose.
We're gonna lose.
So I am confident that we come out and beat these teams midweek for the rest of the season, and we show that we can beat good teams. And I do think you're right, Philip. I think it does matter the competition we're playing, but I think you're both right, because he was saying the conference has been good, but this year and last year we definitely didn't face as much competition later in the year, and I think it did have a factor in not being able to push through.
Well, hopefully we can take advantage of this, and it will prepare us for the postseason. Obviously, we don't know where the Pirates will be or what their seed will be, but I think we do know that they will be playing postseason baseball come June. We're going to take our final time out here on the Tuesday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. On the other side, we'll be back to wrap it up right before play-by-play coverage of East Carolina and NC State.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut and Color, and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, Newbern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Sometimes you just don't know if you want to kiss him or slap him.
Ow!
Either way, he'd probably like it. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Wow, thank goodness Joe's not in here. When we played that rejoin and Joe was here, he died crying, laughing, was about to fall out of his seat.
Scooter's doing that as well right
Scooter
now.
Scooter wasn't much better.
It is pretty funny.
Who came up with that? Does anybody know?
I don't
it is
know.
Funny.
Oh, boy.
Sure was not me.
I think it's perfect for Patrick. I don't know.
I plead the fifth. I will not comment.
Plead the fifth. We have a minute and a half left in our show here today. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Guys, look, quick. Excitement level, 1 to 10 tonight. Pirates, Wolfpack. Where are you guys at?
15.
15. I like it. Dom?
I was going to say 12, but I got to beat out Scooter. 16, baby.
There you go.
What is this? The Price is Right?
It's exactly what I was going to say. You bet $1, I'm doing $2. Price is right. Come on, Bob Barker. No, the price is wrong, Bobby. Just have Adam Sandler sock him one. Anyways, we want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed our little Patrick Johnson show / pregame show leading you into ECU baseball coverage. Scooter will be on in about 3 minutes' time after our final commercial break, as he and Coach O will be bringing you all the action from inside Lewis Field at Clark LeClaire Stadium. So thank you, Scooter, and have a good call tonight.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Talk to you here in a few minutes.
All righty, sounds good. I'll run in there into the control room and make sure you guys are all connected good on the brick. All right, Dom, we really appreciate you coming in and producing. You will be back with the P-Man on Thursday. Is that correct?
That's very correct. I'm excited to get back on there and then do some Jim Taunton show, and I'm excited for you guys to have the Concert on the Commons. You have fun with that.
Yeah, we're going to have a great time at Concert on the Commons, so be sure to check us out. It's Craig Woolard, our colleague, and the Embers will be on Concert on the Commons. P-Man will be back tomorrow, so tune in tomorrow at 5 o'clock for the P-Man. Thanks to Scooter. Thanks to Dom. I'm Philip Pilkington. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place, and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Inner Banks Media and 107.9 WNCT presents Concert on the Common.
1, 2, 3, say, I love beach music.
It's back April 25th with the Embers.
Hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. 'Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you.
Don't miss Concert on the Common with the Embers.
Concert on the Common, thanks to Inner Banks Media, the City of Greenville, and the Junior League of Greenville.
We'll see you at the show.
Let's go. Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time!
Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job.
Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Air service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.